Hey, what's up users, this is John at Muse for You, here to help you build awesome websites without code. And in this video tutorial, I'll be creating a website from beginning to end. So I'll be creating a website from scratch to show you exactly how to build a website in Adobe Muse. Now with this website, I have used quite a few widgets from museforyoushop.com just to add more interest and more animation to the website. So I have the website here, and if I click refresh, we can see that we have the SVG drawing the logo here, and then we have the animator fading in the logo. I've used some animated buttons here for subscribe and shop, and then I'll scroll down the site. We have branding, development, consulting, and then I use some lorem ipsum text here. The text doesn't say anything, but just as an example, here we have works, and again some text, some lorem ipsum text, which is just kind of babble text just as a placeholder. And then here we have a slideshow, and it goes through a few different images here. And then here, meet our team. Here I use the animator widget to animate these images going up. Very good. Here I have another image. Here I have a contact form that says let's discuss here. Very good, and I've formatted and styled this contact form in Adobe Muse. And then here I have a footer with home, about, subscribe, and contact with the logo here. And then right here I have an animated button from the animated buttons widget, and if I click on it, it brings us back to the top of the page. And then here I have the menu. So if I click the menu, I'm using the big menu here, and I'm using the door, the one called door, so it opens up like a door. And then we have home, about, shop, subscribe, and contact. So if I click about, it goes to the about page dedicated to service. I put the logo here and some text here at the bottom, some lorem ipsum text. Then I'll go back to menu. I'll go to shop. Here we have a shop, and here I used Photoshop buttons, which I'll show you in this video tutorial. I've used Photoshop buttons, and I've used the PayPal animated buttons widget so that you can click on the button and actually purchase this item here. Here we have t-shirt, and it'll take you to the shop. And very good, and I have to rename it here. It says retro hat, but it's actually a t-shirt. But yeah, we'll go over that in this video tutorial. So here I click buy now, and this one should say hat. Very good, hipster hat, very good. And then here I click buy now, and then this one is a scarf. Very good, scarf there, and the user can pay with PayPal. Very good. So there it is, and so it hovers over here, and this was created using a Photoshop button there, and this is the animated buttons widget found at museforyoushop.com. And then here again we have the footer and an image here, and it says shop right here. So I'll click on the menu again, then I'll click on subscribe. Here we're using the MailChimp Unlimited widget and MailChimp, and then with the MailChimp Unlimited widget, and then the user can subscribe to the subscription here, and here I wrote receive updates on new products. Very good. And the footer is on every page here, which is very nice there. Very good. And then I'll go to menu, and then I'll go to contact, and we just have the contact form again that says let's discuss. So as you can see, it's fairly simple site, but I think visually it's very nice, and it hits home to all the kind of major important things that a website might need, as far as like a subscription, a shop, and just some nice design there. Very good. So in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build this website. So let's begin. So the first thing I did before I built the website was look for a template that I liked. So I went to this website here called designcraze.org, free Photoshop PSD website templates. And I'll leave a link in the show more area below. But basically I wanted to get some inspiration for the website, kind of the layout, how I wanted it to look. And so I just browsed this page, and I think I came across this one here called Meet Brandy, and I just downloaded it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Adobe Muse website, and this is what the website looks like, the one I just showed. But I have a blank page here, so we'll start with the blank page. And I'll just double click on the home page there. Very good. And actually, before I start building the website, what I want to do is create all my pages first. So I'm going to right click, duplicate page, because the home page has the 960 grid. And the 960 grid you can get from museresources.com. Just go to that page, and he has a nice 960 grid there. So I'm using that grid because it allows me to kind of design better, and I know kind of where to place things with the grids, which is really nice. So I'm going to create my pages. So I created the second page. I'm going to right click, duplicate page, right click, duplicate page, and right click, duplicate page. So here I want a home page, I want an about page, I want a subscribe page, no, excuse me, I want a shop page here, and I want a subscribe page, and I want a contact page. Very good. So those are my 5 pages, and I'm going to start with the home page first. So I'll double click on home. So here we are on the home page, and I'm just going to zoom out by hitting Command minus. Very good. So I have my assets here, and let me minimize this here. I'm going to go to my Finder window, and I have all my assets for this website here. And before you start your website, you do want to prepare your assets, but I'll go over all of this and the different assets that I use for this website. So the first thing I want to place is the Brandy PSD image. It comes with a PSD, a .photoshop file, and a .jpeg file. So I'm going to click, hold, and drag and place the .jpeg file here. And I'll just put it over here to the right, just so I can start seeing how I want to create the layout of my website. So there's the layout, and what I'm going to do is insert the logo, because I want to take the colors from the logo. So I have the logo, actually the logo is in an Illustrator file, so I'm going to open the Illustrator file. I'm going to right click, open with Adobe Illustrator. And here's the logo. So I'm just going to copy this logo, and I'm going to delete this background here. And I'll delete that background there as well. And now I just want to copy this entire logo simply by clicking, holding, and dragging over it. And then I'm going to hit Command C to copy, or Control C if you're on Windows. And I'll go back to my Adobe Muse website, and I'll hit Command V to paste. And now it pastes into Adobe Muse as an SVG. And most browsers now are compatible with SVG, so this will work very good. And now I'm just going to resize this a little bit bigger to about there. Perfect. And now I have my logo in the website. Now the reason I place the logo first is because I want to sample the colors of the logo. And that's the style that I want to make the website, is the color of this logo here. Very good. So to sample the color of this logo, I'm going to click on the browser here, or the page. I'm going to go up here to browser fill. I'm going to click the drop down, and now I have the sample color tool, and I want to click on it, and then I want to sample kind of like this goldish color here. So I'll sample that, and the background is going to become that color for a moment, but don't worry about it too much. Because what we want to do now is we want to save this color by clicking this add swatch icon here that looks like a piece of paper. So I'll click on it, and then I'll click OK. And now we have that color saved in our swatches panel. So I'll go to the sample color tool again, and I want to sample this kind of black color in here. Very good. And it'll turn the browser that color. But now what I want to do is save it to the swatches panel. So I'll click the swatches panel there again, and I'll click OK, or the swatches icon, and now I have those 2 colors which I want to use for my website. Okay, very good. And now I can make the browser fill white again. There we go. So now, very good. So now the excuse me, the browser fill is white. So now what I want to do is create that first top part with an image. So I'm going to select my rectangle tool. I'm going to click, hold, and drag, and just create a rectangle right there. And I'm going to make the rectangle 500 pixels in height. I like to use exact numbers when I'm working with different sections on my website. So this first section here is going to have it's going to be 100% width, and it's going to have a height of 500 pixels. And we know it's 100% width because the 100% width button here is selected, and that all that means is that when you make the browser bigger or smaller, the image will shrink or get bigger with the browser. Very good. So now I have this rectangle here, and I want to fill it with an image. So I'm going to go to Fill, Add Image, and I'm going to select this image here. Very good. And I'm going to scale to fill and center in position it in the middle there. Now this image, first we can see that it covered the logo. So what I want to do is right click and arrange and then send to back. Or you can do that with the layers panel. If you click on layers and you can just bring layers on top or behind each other. Okay, very good. So now the image is in the background, and I want to give this image kind of a darker overlay. So to do that, we go to Fill, we go to Opacity, and we set it to, let's say, I'll say 60% opacity. And then for the color, I'll select that kind of darker color that we sampled from the logo. Very good. So that just gives the background a bit of a darker color. Very good. So now I want to create the next section, which is going to say branding, development, and consulting. So for that, I want another rectangle. So I'll just select the rectangle tool, and I'll click, hold, and drag, and just create a rectangle. And now I'll fill this rectangle with that kind of yellowish color, goldish color. So I'll go to the drop down here, and I'll select kind of this goldish color here. Very good. So now it has that color. Very good. And I'll just drag this down a little bit more. Or actually, I'll make it, for the height on this, I'll make it 300 pixels in height. Very good. And now I want to add some text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a lorem ipsum generator. And for those of you who are not familiar with what lorem ipsum is, it's just kind of like dummy text. Like when you're designing something, you can use it. And here I'll click on generate lorem ipsum, and I'll leave a link to this in the description area below. And I'll just copy this text. Very good. And I'll paste right here into Adobe Muse. And now we have some kind of dummy text that we can play with. And I don't need that much text, so I'm just going to delete like that. And perfect. Very good. And we can see that this rectangle got smaller, so I will make that bigger. And now that I've got some text in here, what I want to do is find the font for my website. I did this before, and for this website, I'm using King's Caslon Display. But you can search for more fonts by clicking on Add Web Fonts here. And here I'll close this. And then here we are in the Typekit fonts, and they just have tons of fonts here that you can use. So that could just be something that you want to look at, like what font you want to use for your Adobe Muse website. Very good. So then I'll just cancel this here. So we have some text here, and I want to make this text white. So I'll just highlight it and make it white there so we can read it, and I'll make the text that King's Caslon Display. Perfect. And now I want a header. And actually, before I add that text, let me make this bigger here. And I actually want a header up here that says features. So I'm going to select the text tool, drag out the text box, and I'm going to write in features. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to make the text about 60 is good, or let's say 48 there, and I'll make the text white, and I'll make it that King's Caslon Display, and I'll underline it by selecting the underline option here, and then I'll center the text by selecting the center positioning there. Perfect. And then I'll position this right in the center of the browser. Very good. Perfect. And then I'll make this smaller here. Okay, so here we have some text, and here I want to add the text branding, and actually before I do that, what I want to do is add an H2 styling tag for search engine optimization to this heading. So now I'm going to click on paragraph styles, and I'm going to create a new style from the attributes. So I'll click there, and I'll double click on paragraph style, and I'll make this an H2 subhead, and I'll call this H2. So now when I have different subheads like this, I'll just assign it the H2 subhead tag, and this is good for search engine optimization, so it knows which parts are important on the website. Very good. So now I'm going to create another text, and I'm going to just drag it out like so, and I'm going to write branding, and again I'll format it to the King's Caslon Display, and I'll make this a bit bigger, let's say 24, and I'll make the text white, and that looks good there. And then I'll put the text right underneath branding there, and then I'm going to give this branding text another paragraph style. I want to make this H3 because it's not as important as the H2 tag, but it's still pretty important. So we'll just click there, create a new paragraph style, and I'll call this H3, and I'll create an H3 subhead. Very good, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is copy and paste this a few times. So we have 3 different subheadings there. Very good, and I'll copy, and I'll just change the text here. I'll call this development, and consulting. Very good. And I'll make the text a little bit shorter there, and I'll just copy and paste that text. Perfect. Very good. And all those have the H3 tag, and this one has the H2 tag. Perfect. So there we go. We've started our site. We've got some text, some subheadings here, and I'm just going to reference this website again so I can see what I'm working with. Okay, so the next one is works. So let me go back to the site, and I'm going to create another rectangle. So I'm going to copy and paste this rectangle, just bring it down here, and I'm going to fill this rectangle with the darker color here. Very good. And I'm just going to copy this features text and just place it right in the center there, and I'm going to say works for this one, and again it has the H2 tag, so I'm all set there. And for this, I'm just going to copy this text and just paste some text underneath here, and I'm going to center this text. Very good. So there we have it. We have works. Looks good. All right, so we have features, works. Very nice. And let me reference the site again. And then we have an image here, or this is actually a slideshow. So I'm going to insert a slideshow. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go to Object, Insert Widget, and I'm going to click Slideshow, and I'm going to insert a basic slideshow, and I'll just insert that there. And then what I want to do is bring the slideshow down, and I'm going to click on the widget options here, and I'm going to take off Previous, Next, Captions, and Counter. Very good. So we just have the image, and we don't see any of those captions or the Next and Previous button. Very good. So now what I want to do is make this slideshow 100% width. So I'm going to click the 100% width tool right up here, and perfect. Now this slideshow is 100% width, and what I want to do is replace the images in here. So I'm going to click the widget options. I'm going to click on where it says add images. I'm going to click there, and I'm going to select 4 different images here. Very good. I'll select those there. So now we have a slideshow, and the slideshow will slide through these images, and I have it sliding at a transition speed of 0.5, and it'll autoplay, and it'll change every 3.5 seconds, and it'll resume after 3 seconds. We don't need to worry about the resume after because we can't manually change the slides, so it's not going to resume after. It's just going to autoplay at 3.5 seconds at a transition speed of 0.5, and the transition is going to be a fade transition. Very good. And I can make this this slideshow a bit taller in height. Actually, I like the height there. It's at 360, so we'll leave it like that. Very good. So I'll reference this website again, and here we have the Meet Our Team section. So let's add that section there. Very good. So I'm going to actually, let me go back here to this website, and I'm going to copy works here, and I'm going to paste, or actually I'm going to create a rectangle. So I'll copy this rectangle and I'll paste it. So I'll hit Command C and Command V to paste, and then we have it here. And this rectangle, I'm going to give it a height of 500. Very good. Oh, and actually this rectangle, yeah, let's change it to 300 or 400. Very good. And this one as well. So I'm going to bring everything down a little bit, or we're going to do 350 for this this rectangle. Very good. And 350 as well for this rectangle. I just like exact numbers. It helps me with the design and things like that. So these rectangles are at a height of 350, and then this slide shows 360, and then here we have this rectangle here, which is 500 pixels. Okay, so now I want to copy the text works, and I want to paste it, and then here I want to center it in the middle, and I want to say Meet Our Team. Okay, very good. So now what I want to do is create 3 rectangles. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool, and I'm going to create perfect squares. So I'll hold down Shift, and I want to create 240 by 240 squares there. And that's why I like working with this grid system, because it allows me to create perfect squares on the grid. And so this spans like almost 4 grid lines here, and it's 240 by 240. So I'll just copy and paste that 3 times. I know we can't really see them because they're transparent. but they're there. And actually what I'm going to do so we can see it is fill this rectangle first. So I'm going to fill this rectangle with an image of a person. So I'm going to go to fill, add image, and I'm going to put it in list mode here. I have person 1 here, and I'm going to scale to fill and position in the center, and I'll copy and paste and then position that right in the middle. Then I'll go to fill here in the image. I'll click on that, on add image, and I'll say person 3 here. Very good. And one more time, I'm going to leave person 3 over here at the end. Very good. Or let's do something like that. Yep. So here I'll position this in the center. Then I'll go to fill, add image, and then I'll do person 4. Perfect. Very good. So there I have my team. And let me do something like this. Yeah, that's better. Okay, perfect. Yeah, and the center is right here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so there I have my team. I have the 3 images. And what I want to do is copy this text here so we can have some more text underneath meet our team. And I might need to make the rectangle a little bit taller. So we'll add more height to the rectangle here. Very good. And I'll bring these images down, and I'll create some more text here. So create text here. I'll say Sam. And I'll make it white. I'll select the King's Caslon display, and I'll make it 18. Very good. And I'll center it. So we have Sam there. So I'll copy and paste this. Here we have, I'm going to call her Alex. And then we're going to have Max here. All right, very good. Yeah, this is just for demonstration purposes, so I'm just giving kind of random names there. Very good, so there we have the names. So that's our team. And then let me reference this website one more time. And then we have another image, and then we have let's discuss. We have the contact there. So I'm going to go to plan view. I'm going to go, I'm going to go back to the site we're working on, and I'm going to add another image. So I'm just going to grab the rectangle tool, create a banner here, or rectangle, and we're going to say 300 pixels in height should be good, or we'll do 350. Very good. So now I'll go to fill, add image, and let's see, we'll use this image here. I'll do scale to fill and position in the center. Perfect. All right, so now I want to copy this rectangle here again, this darker rectangle, and paste it, and then just bring it at the bottom there. Very good. And this is going to be our let's discuss session. So I'm going to copy meet our team and paste it because we want all the subheads to have the H2 tag there. And by copying and pasting, we can assure that they'll have the H2 tag. So there's meet our team, or excuse me. So now, we want to say let's discuss, and I want to create a contact form. So to create a contact form, you just go to object, insert widget, go to go to form, and create I'm going to create a simple contact. You can create a detailed contact with more forms or more areas for people to enter information. Very good. So now I want to style this contact form. So what I'm going to do is grab this field here, and you can just keep clicking inside the contact form until you grab the element that you want in the contact form. And I'm just going to drag out, and I'm going to move this over here to the left, and I'm going to remove the fill. So I'm going to say no fill. I'm going to remove the stroke, and actually I just want the stroke to be on the bottom. So I'm going to click on stroke, and I'm going to, for the weight, I'm going to uncheck the constrain or make stroke weight settings, make all stroke weight settings the same, and I'm just going to add a stroke to the bottom, a stroke of 3. Very good. And the stroke color, I'm going to say white. Very good. And then here, I'm going to kind of drag this out a little bit so they're all the same. Yeah, that's perfect. And I'm going to delete where it says name, email, and message. Okay. And then here I'll center the submit button, And there we have a nicer looking contact form. And I think let me click in this again. I'm going to go to stroke, and I've added stroke to the top instead of the bottom. There we go, that makes more sense. Stroke, and let me unconstrain that, make all these zeros, and just have a stroke on the bottom. There we go, that's a bit better. Yeah, there we go. So we can enter message, enter an email, enter name, and enter email. So I'm going to select this text in here, and I'm going to make it white, and I'm going to give it the King's Carslon display font, and I don't want it to be italicized. Perfect. So there's our contact form. It's a little more minimalized, and yeah, and it just looks a bit nicer. And I'll just center that in the middle. Very nice. And then we'll style the submit button. I'll give it this kind of goldish color. I'll make the font white, and I'll give it again the King's Carslon display, and I'll make the text 18 there. Perfect. And for the corner radius, I'll just make it 0 because I want it to be a square. And for the border, I'll make it that color there. Very good. And let's make the font a little bit bigger, or I'll make it all capital there. And I'll make it a little bit bigger, 24. Very good. Here, I'll just drag this up a little bit. There, very good. So we have our submit button. Let's discuss. This is our contact form, and then I can have it go to whatever email I want it to. I can give it a form name, and then after sending, I can go to another page or pick which page I want the user to go to. Very good. And I can add more standard fields here: cell phone number, company, work phone number, work address. I can add a CAPTCHA. I can do reCAPTCHA, which is really cool. And I actually want to do reCAPTCHA. Just to make sure that that a computer is not filling out my form. And I actually have a video on how to do this, how to do the reCAPTCHA, where you'll need to get a public key and private key. You can just go to Google and type in reCAPTCHA, or watch the video, because this will take me a long time if I'm going to get into this. But this just ensures that when your website is live, that a robot isn't kind of typing into your form and spamming you or whatever, or that you're not getting spam email. Very good. So for now, I'm just going to leave that like so, or what I'm going to do is just turn off the reCAPTCHA for the moment, but it is a good idea to have the CAPTCHA on. Very good. So that's in another video, but I'll just keep with designing this website here. So very good. So as you can see, when I first started building the site, I just kind of used this PSD for some ideas. Like I used features, works, meet our team, and let's discuss. So I just kind of used some of those ideas. So now we have the basic outline of the website designed. We have features, works, meet our team. We have some images and a contact form. So now if I'm going to delete this because we don't really need it anymore. So I'm going to go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And I'll scroll down. And as we can see, we have that nice website. We have the slideshow there. We have Meet Our Team. And we have Let's Discuss. So one thing I've noticed is that the font doesn't look as nice. And that's because in the previous example, I added the Font Smoother widget. So I'm going to go to my Muse for You widgets. And I'm going to click on Font Smoother. I'm going to click, hold, and drag and place onto my Adobe Muse website. So there I have it, and I'll close my library panel, and I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And perfect, now my fonts are much smoother. Yeah, the font looks a lot nicer now. Very good, and I noticed this isn't centered, so I'm going to center this. Okay, I'm trying to find the center here. I think that's it right there. Yep, there it is. And I'll center this. Perfect. And perfect. There, centered. Okay, let me do this. Very good. All right, so that's centered there. And perfect, centered. Yep, so features, works, meet our team. There it is in the center. Is that right? Yep, that's in the center. And then the same here. Perfect. All right, so I was just moving a few things around. All right, so let me preview again. we can see that the font looks nicer and everything is just really nice. Very good. So now the next thing that I want to do is add the menu and the footer to this page. So I'm actually going to go to the master page. So I'm going to go back to my plan view. I'm going to click on the masters page, and I'm going to add the big menu from Muse for You. So I'll go to my library panel, and I'll scroll down here, and I have the big menu widget. So I'm going to use the door widget, or the door effect for the menu. So I'm going to click, hold, and drag and place onto my Adobe Muse website. And very good. So there I have the menu, and I'm going to place the styling options over here to the left, and I'm going to place the menu right up here at the top. Very good. So now I'm going to open my widget options, and I'm just going to have it say menu. Perfect. And then for the open button background color, I'm going to say this darker color that we sampled from the logo. And for the radius, I'm going to say 0. Very good. Yep. Oh, let me go back to the widget options here. So I said 0 for the radius. And for the link text 1, I'm going to say home. Link text 2, I'm going to say about. Text 3, I'm going to say shop. And text 4, I'm going to say subscribe. And text 5, I'm going to say contact. Perfect. Very good. So now I'm going to go back to my widget options here. And what I'm going to do now, because I want to use the font, this font that we selected for the website, I'm going to go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And I'm going to right click on any of these fonts. I'm going to right click, Inspect Element. And then I'm going to scroll down, and right over here, I'm in my styling options here, or my styles here in the code inspector. And right here where it says font family, we see it says King's Caslon Display, sans serif. So I'm just going to copy that after font family, and all of it, even the semicolon. And I'm going to hit Command C to copy. And I'm going to go back to my Adobe Muse website, and I'm going to go to Plan. I'm going to go to the master page, and over here in the menu widget, I'm going to, where it says font family for the open button, I want to use that King's Caslon Display, as well as over here in the menu open, I'm going to use the Caslon font there. So for font family, we just enter that in there. Very good. Oh yeah, and for home, I want to capitalize it as well. Home and about there. Very good. So now I'm going to go to my styling options, and for the overlay color, I want it to be that dark color that we sampled. For the font color, I want it to be white. For the font hover color, I want it to be the kind of that gold color there. And let's see, anything else? And for the close button, I want it to be this gold color on hover. So on before hover, I want it to be white, and then when you hover over it, I want it to be kind of that goldish color. And then all the other settings are good. Sounds good. And the other thing I want to do is make sure that this menu is on top of everything else. So I want to go to my layers panel, and I want to click here where it says new layer. So I'll click there, and I want my menu on layer 2 because it's above layer 1, and this ensures that that it stays on top of all the other elements in my Adobe Muse website. So now that we've changed the font family, what we want to do is pin this menu to the top and right, or wherever you place the menu, you want to make sure that it's pinned. So if it's in the top middle, or the top left, or bottom left, or bottom center, or bottom right, you just want to make sure that the menu is pinned in that area. So here I have it in the upper right, so I've pinned the menu to the upper right. Very good. And this ensures that when we preview the website, so if I go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I click Menu, this ensures that the menu covers the entire page. Okay. If it's not pinned, because the way the menu works, if it's not pinned, and we go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and we'll just give it a second here, and I click Menu, we can see it doesn't cover the entire page. So you just want to make sure that the menu is pinned to the browser in whatever direction it's pinned. So here I'm going to pin it back to the upper right, and I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and perfect. And then I'll click Menu, and we can see we have that menu there. Very good. And because it's in the master page, it's going to work on all of these pages. As you can see, all of these pages have the menu in them. Very good. And the other thing I'll do on the master page here, so I'll click on a master. And yeah, the other thing I want to do is add a footer. So to add a footer, I'm just going to drag this down here, the bottom of the browser. Or no, excuse me. I'm going to, yeah, just drag the bottom of the page down here. And what I want to do is create a rectangle down here. So I'm going to click the rectangle tool, and I'm going to click, hold, and drag and create a rectangle like so. And I'm going to fill this rectangle with the goldish color here. So I'll go to the drop down here where it says fill, and I'll click that color there. Very good. So that's our footer. So now if I go to my plan view, every page now has that footer area. And you just want to make sure with your footer, we have the footer tab here, and if you bring this up, the footer actually gets larger. So now it's like some white space here and this rectangle, or we can make this rectangle reach the top of the footer and make the footer bigger. So here we have the tab, bottom of page and bottom of browser, and then here we have the footer. So whatever distance this footer is from the bottom of the page, I would say, yeah, from the bottom of the page, that's how big your footer is going to be. So I'm just going to drag this down a little bit more, and perfect. There's our footer, and now it's on every page. And we'll work more with the footer as I go in this tutorial. Yeah, as I go on in this tutorial. Okay, so now we have our home page. Our home page is pretty set, so I'm going to preview it again in the browser. Preview page in browser, and I'll scroll down. So we have the logo, we have the menu, and I'll scroll down some more. We have features, works, we have a slideshow there, meet our team, we have an image here, and a contact page here. Very good. So now I'm going to continue working with the rest of the website. As you can see, there's like a little line here. We don't really want that, and that line is there because there's some space between the rectangle and the footer. So I'll just bring the footer down a little bit to make sure we don't have any of that white space here. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and you might have not noticed it, but there was a white line between that black area, this darker area, and the footer. So now as you can see, it's seamless. There's no space between this black area and the footer. All right, very good. So now I'm going to continue with the rest of the pages. I'm going to go to my About page, and I'm going to make the browser fill kind of that dark black. So I'll just go to my browser fill here and select this dark black. Very good. And I'm going to reference the other website real quick. So I'm just going to reference this About page here. And here we can see it says dedicated to service, and I have the logo again here, and yeah, and some text down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the page we're working on. I'm going to go to the home page, and I'm just going to copy this features title here. I'll go to the About page, paste that in, and again, if we go to our character styles, or excuse me, our paragraph styles, it's in H2, which is what I want because it's a subheading, and I'll just place it in the center there of the website. Very good, and the top there. And I'll say dedicated to service. Very good. And I'll just make this wider so it fits there nicely. And perfect. Now I want to place the logo in here, so I'm going to go back into my Adobe Muse website, or the assets, and I'm going to select the monogram again. I actually closed it, so I'm going to reopen it. And actually I can copy it from the home page here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it in here, and perfect. So there's our logo, and then I'm going to go back to my home page and just copy some text from down here, and let me center this. Oh wait, no, it is centered. Very good. So I'll just copy that, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I have a better reference of where things are positioned. And you just hold Command- to zoom out. So I'll hit Command-C to copy that text, and I'll hit Command-V to paste, or Control-C and Control-V if you're on Windows. Very good. And I'll just center that in there. Perfect. And as you can see, we have quite a bit of space, or not much space between the footer area and the page. So to change that, we just drag the bottom of the page here. We just drag this down. So we grab this tab right here. Yeah, and actually I thought you had to go to the master page, but you just drag this bottom of the page down, and it gives more sight to the web page here. All right, perfect. Very good. So now I'm going to continue to the shop. So for the shop, I actually put an image at the top here. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool, and I'll create an image, or a rectangle, I should say. And the height of this rectangle, I want it to be 300. Very good. So now I'm going to go to Fill, Add Image, and I have an image of a shop here, or kind of like a shop. And I'll say Scale to Fill, and position it in the center. Very good. So there's just a few items there. And again, I'm going to go back here to my About page, double click on Dedicated to Service, and I'm going to paste that in here. And I just want something that says Shop. So I'll just position that there and say Shop. Very good, perfect. And I'll come back to this page. We're going to work quite a bit with this page, but for now I'll just leave it like so. And I also want to add a gradient to the back of this, not a gradient, an overlay. So I'm going to go to Fill. So I clicked on the image first. I'm going to go to Fill, and I'm going to select Color. I'm going to select this darker color, and I'm going to say for the opacity, I'm going to say 50%, or 60. We can do 60%. Yeah, 60. And that way we can see the text shop a little bit better, and the image is a little bit, not faded, but it has an overlay to it, so it's not as, there's not as much contrast to it. Very good. And as well, actually I'm going to leave this area white, and we're going to come back to this because we're actually going to add products here in the in the shop section. Very good. And then I have the subscribe area. We're going to come back to this as well because I'm going to use MailChimp for this. And we have the contact area. For the contact area, what I'm going to do, I'll go to contact, and I'll just simply, where it says browser fill, I'll just select this darker area there, and then I'll go to my home page. I'll scroll down and I'll say let's discuss, and this contact page. So we're kind of duplicating the contact page here. You can just have it on one page, but I just wanted to showcase the contact page there. So I'll have it on both sections, and I'll bring this area down so there's a little more space there and it can breathe a little bit. Very good. So now we have the contact page. That's it for the contact page. It's pretty much done. So we have the shop and the subscribe area. So yeah, we have the home page, the about page, and the contact page done. So now we're going to work on the shop page. So I'm going to double click on shop, and what I want to do, when I was first creating the site, what I did is I created a square. So I created a square, and it was 240 by 240. So actually, let me delete this rectangle. You can create a perfect square by selecting the rectangle tool, holding down shift, and then dragging out. And basically I used the grid lines there, and I saw that 240 and 240 fit nicely within these grid lines, and it was a nice size to put an image in. So let me bring this down a little bit. So what I said is like I put a square here, so I'm going to copy and paste, and let me fill this this square so we can see it. And yeah, hold on. There we go. So I'm going to copy and paste and put that in the center. Actually, the center is right here. Copy and paste and put that in the center. So I looked at it and I said, that looks nice. I want 3 items here for the shop, and I'm going to fill these items with images. So basically what I did, and I'm going to go to Fill, Add Image, and I have a few images here for the shop. The first one, no, that's not quite it. I think it's close here. So, and then scale to fill. Yeah, so I had a hat here and a few other items. I'm not going to fill these with the rectangle or with the image because we're actually going to create a Photoshop button. Now, if you've never created one, I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm actually going to make another quick video to showcase this as well. But I'll show you now how to create a Photoshop button. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our Finder, or you're going to find the image that you want to kind of have an overlay or a Photoshop button. And I should probably explain this a little bit better. But if we go to the first website, and I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and we open it here, as you can see, it has an overlay. So when you hover your mouse, it tells you the item and what and how much the item costs, and then here we have some buttons that I'm going to go over after I do this here. But basically this is a Photoshop button. Photoshop button where you hover over it and it has that effect. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to open up those images. So the first image was this shirt right here. So I'm going to right click, open with Adobe Photoshop there, and it's going to open. So there we have it. And what I want to do, because our square is 240 pixels by 240 pixels, what I want to do is go to image, go to image size, and I want to change the height to 240. Whatever number is less, that's what you want to change it to, because if you change the height to 240 or the width to 240, the height is going to be less than 240. Like for example, if I do 240, now the height is 160 and it's not going to fit the square. So I want to say 240, and now we have a width of 360 and a height of 240. Resolution 300 is good, and I'll click OK. And then I'm going to hit Command A to select all, or Control A if you're on Windows, and then Command C to copy, or Control C if you're on Windows. And I'm going to go to File, New, and I'm going to create a new kind of artboard here that's 240 by 240. Resolution 300 is good, and I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to hit Command V to paste that image in there, and then we can move this image around in there. And I'm going to center it perfectly within this artboard there. And now what I want to do is create a square. So I'm going to create a new layer by selecting the new layer icon here. Looks like a piece of paper there. And then I'm going to create a square, and right there is good, the square tool. And I'll just create a square over the artboard there. Perfect. And I'm going to fill this square with this darker color. So I'm going to go to my browser fill, select this black color here, and I'll just copy the hex code. Very good. And I'll make it white again. So I just copied the hex code there. And what I'm going to do is go to right click on this rectangle, go to blending options, and then color overlay. I'm going to click there, and then here where I can select the color, I'm just going to paste that in there, click OK, and click OK. So now that square is that darker color, and I'll just make it bigger so that it covers the entire area there. Very good. So I'll go to right click on, or actually I have to apply the transformation, apply. I'm going to right click again, go to blending options, and now in the blending options I'm going to say opacity, I'm going to say 60, and I'll click OK. So it has an opacity over it. And then I'm going to go to my text tool here in Photoshop and just create some text. So I'm going to say sweater. This is actually more of a sweater. And I'm going to say $21. Okay, and I'll move this text down in the center like so. Very good. That looks good. And perfect. So now we have kind of that image there. And let me bring this down a little bit more. That looks good there. It looks more in the center. Yeah, perfect. So we have sweater, $21. And that's basically it. So now what we want to do is save this Photoshop file. So you just go to File, Save, and then I'll save it as sweater.psd. Click OK or Enter, and then I'll click OK. Then I'll go back into Adobe Muse, and I'll go back to the shop area, the one we were working on, and I'll delete, actually I'll leave that there for a second. And now to place that Photoshop button, you go to File, Place Photoshop button. Very good. And now I'm going to search for that sweater.psd, which is down here. I'll double click, and then for the normal state we want to say layer 1, which is just the sweater without anything on it. That's layer 1. And then for the rollover state we want to say composite, which is the entire with all the layers visible. That's called the composite. Yeah, basically it's like all the layers put together. And then I'll click OK, and then I'll place it there, and we can see it fits perfectly over the 240 by 240 image there. So I'll just delete this image in the background, and I'll just place that there. And now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I'll scroll down, and when we hover over it we can see it says sweater. Perfect. That's exactly what we want it to do. So now I'm going to go back to the Photoshop file, and I'm just going to create a new layer. And actually, what I could have done before that is what I'm going to do, what I could have done before is open another image. So I'm going to right click, open with Adobe Photoshop, and I'm going to resize this image. So I'm going to go to image size, and I'm going to say 240 again, and click OK. Resolution 300 is good. I'll hit Command A to copy, and then Command A to select, and then Command C to copy. And then I'll go back to that sweater.psd and I'll paste. And now we have that layer with this image. And basically what I want to do is put the text sweater over this image and the rectangle. So there we have that. So layer 2 now has the image, and we can change this text. I'll go to my text tool, and we can say hipster hat. Very good. And now I'll go to File, Save As, and I'll save this as hipster hat. So if you noticed, I kind of am just using the previous file we had before and just saving kind of a new file with it. And that way it just speeds up the process. And I'll go back to Muse. I'll go to File, Place Photoshop button, and I'll select hipster hat. If I can find it. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, here it is, hipster hat. Composite. For the normal state, we want layer 2 because that's where the image is, and then we'll go to composite for the other states. Very good. Yeah, composite. No, not background. Composite. There we go. I'll click OK, and I'll place that in there. I'll delete this one and just place that right there in the center. And then we have one more image, so I'll go back to my Finder, and let's find here. So I have the scarf here. I'll right click, open with Adobe Photoshop. Then I'll go to image size, and I'll say, here I'll say 240 for the width because it's less than the height. And then there we go. And the resolution 300, click OK, hit Command A to select all, and then Command C to copy. I'll go here in this, the file that we're working with, and I'll create a new layer. I'll say paste, and I'll center this image in the center. And then I'll bring the rectangle on top of it and this text over it. And I probably could have changed the price of the hipster hat, which would have been a good idea. And then I'll change the text here. I'll select the text tool, and here I'll say scarf, and I'll change this to $15. Very good. And then I'll go to File, Save As, and I'll do scarf -2 because I've already saved the scarf. And I'm going to go back into the hipster.psd. Let's see if I can find it. Hipster.psd. Here, hipster hat. So I'll double click there, open it, and I'm just going to change the price of this hipster hat to like, we're going to say 14, or no, 17. Kind of jack the price up there, but, or probably hat is 14. I don't know why I'm thinking about this too much. It's just a hat, and it's for demonstration purposes. All right, so now I'll go to File, Save, and I can go back into Adobe Muse, and I think I can go to Assets and just update the assets of this of the hat. So I'll just right click here, update asset, and then right click here, update asset. Very good. So that should update the hipster hat. And now I'll go to File, Place Photoshop button, and I'll select scarf-2, composite. I want layer 3, and then, normal state layer 3, rollover state composite, mouse down state composite, active state composite, and I'll place that in there. I'll delete this in the background there, and perfect. So now I'll go to File, Preview, Page in Browser, and we'll let it load here. And so I hover over it, it says sweater 21, hipster hat 14, scarf 15. Perfect. Excuse me, my voice just cracked a little bit. Very good. So now what I want to do is add the PayPal buttons. And for the PayPal buttons, I'm using the PayPal animated buy buttons from useforYouShop.com. So I'll just click on Library, and I'll scroll down, and I'll find the PayPal animated buy buttons widget. I'll click there, and I'm going to use the one without the icon, so I'll just click on the first widget here, and I'll click, hold, and drag, and perfect, place onto my Adobe Muse website. And then I'll just center it underneath here, and I'll open these options here. For the email to pay, you can enter the email there. I'll just leave it like that for now. The amount, we said, I think 21 for the sweater. Language, United States. Currency, US dollars. The name, I'm going to say sweater. Item number, we'll say item number 1. Shipping cost, we're going to do free shipping because we're cool like that. Tax rate, we'll leave 8.5 because, yeah, we might not be that cool and we might have to pay taxes in our state. So instance number, we'll leave at 1. Winona, for the button type, I'm going to actually say Tamaya 1 because I really like the way this button looks. And then the button text before, I'm going to say, yeah, buy now. And then the button text after, I'm going to say $21. All right, and the font size, I'll make it a little bigger. I'll say 18. And very good. And for the color 1, I'm going to make it this kind of goldish color. Color 2, I'm going to say goldish color as well. Color 3, I'm going to say white. And color 4, let's do black. And color 5, kind of that darker color there. Very good. And for the font, I'm going to go back into the home page. I'm going to go to File, Preview Page, and Browser. And let it load. And I'm going to right-click, Inspect Element. And I'll go here to my styles. Select the font, right after it says Font Family. Select this here, King's Caslon Display, Sans Serif. I'll hit Command-C to copy or Control-C if you're on Windows. And then I'll go back to my shop page. Go here to the PayPal animated buy buttons widget. Select this, Command-A to select it, and then delete, and then hit enter there. Very good. So here it doesn't show the font, but it will. Very good. So that's it for that button. So I'll hit Command-C and then Command-V to paste the button. Paste it there and paste it here. And then I'll just change a few of the options. All right, so I'll go in here. For this one, we're going to say amount 14, item number 2, we'll leave shipping cost 0 and tax rate 8.5. Here we're going to change the price to 14, the button text after, and then we'll leave that like that. Perfect. Then I'll go back in here. For the scarf, I think we said, oh, we didn't change the item name here for the hat. So we go back in here and we'll say hipster hat. Very good. And then here I'll go back in here. I changed it to scarf. Amount 15. Let's see. And then here the button text after we'll change it to 15. And everything else looks good. All right, perfect. So now I'm going to go to File, Preview Page, and Browser. And I'll scroll down. So here we see it says 21. And it says buy now and buy now. And if I click on it, just takes a moment, it's loading. It goes to my PayPal. Here it says seller email at museforyoushop.com because I didn't enter my full email, but you can put your PayPal email here and then the person or the user can purchase the product. And we can see here it adds the tax rate, which was 8.5, and the total comes out to 22.79 there. And I think PayPal just added some things here with the online banking. I mean, it could have been here, but I did notice that you can pay with online banking. So yeah, so there you can pay with PayPal and have your online store with PayPal and have users pay that way as well. And I like let me close this here, and I'll close this here again. Oops, let me go back here. And I like the way the PayPal animated buy buttons work. It just adds more kind of interest and animation to the buttons there. All right, very good. And if I wanted to as well, I could, or actually I'm just gonna leave it there because when the person rolls over the image, it says the title of the product and the price. All right, so that's pretty much it for the shop page. I think we're done with that. And I'm just gonna reference this page here. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did for this page as well. All right, so I'm gonna go back to my plan view. So we have our home, about, shop, and subscribe. Now for our subscribe page, I'm gonna double click in here. And I'm actually going to use my my own MailChimp form. So I'll be right back because I'm going to log into MailChimp. So I've logged into MailChimp and I've clicked on list and then sign up forms. And then here you can click on embedded forms. And then what I want to do is click on naked because I just want the naked code. And here I have the person can enter their email address, their first name, and their last name. And then the code is right here. So I'm going to copy this code And I'm actually going to use the MailChimp Unlimited widget from museforyoushop.com. And I'm going to click on Library to access it. And I'm going to go to MailChimp Unlimited widget. And I'm just going to click, hold, and drag the first one. Because the code isn't that long, I don't need to use the HTML version. I'll just use the version here where I can paste in the code. So I'll click, hold, and drag, place onto my Adobe Muse website. Then here in the widget options where it says enter your MailChimp code, I'll hit Command V to enter that code I copied from MailChimp. And there's our form. I don't want those colors. And actually, before I start styling, I want to make the browser fill of this page dark blackish color that we have from our logo. And then I'll center this MailChimp form in the middle, and I'll start styling it. So for the form background color, I want it to be transparent. So down here where it says form transparent, I'm going to say yes. And then for the font, I'm going to select, I think it was Allegra, or basically just a font that that matches more the font of my website. I'll go back to this, and I am going to update the MailChimp form so that we can add the font family. In this version, we can't yet, so that'll be an update very soon. The heading font size, I'm happy with that. And actually, I don't want the heading to say subscribe to our mailing list, so I'm going to delete that. So I'm going to go in the code, and I'm going to look for where it says subscribe to our mailing list, which is right up here. It's in between these two H2 tags. So I'm just going to go in there and delete that within the code, because we're going to add the title ourselves. And let me put that back in there. All right, so that deletes that. Very good. The heading color, we don't need to worry about that anymore because we deleted it. The label color, I'm going to say white. Label font size 14 is fine. Label text line, I'll leave it in the center. Input background color, I'm going to say kind of this goldish color here. Very good. Input font size, we'll say 18. We'll make it a bit bigger. Input font color, we're going to say white. Input text align, center is fine. Input text transform, I'm going to say uppercase for a nicer effect there. So when the user inputs their text, it's all in uppercase. And then input border, I'm going to say, actually we don't want a border, so I'm going to say none. And the input border type. Input border radius, 0, that's fine. Input border width, we don't have a border, so we can leave this at 3. It won't affect it because we don't have a border. Input height, 30 is fine. We can make it bigger if we'd like, but I find that that looks good. 30 is good. Input transparent, no. Indicates required color, I'll change that to the goldish color instead of, or I'll say white. Yeah, oh, that's the indicates required text there. Yeah, we'll say, we'll leave that at white. And the asterisk color, I'm going to say white as well. Very good. And the field padding, 5, that's fine. And we already set the form to transparent. Perfect. So that's our form. It's styled. And now what I want to do is style the subscribe button. And I'll show you how this looks in the browser. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And perfect. And I'll type in email address, john@museforyoushop.com. First name John, last name Ramos. And then if we hit subscribe, it'll say I'm already subscribed. Yeah, I'm already subscribed to the Muse for You mailing list. But yeah, that's the MailChimp form. And we want to style the subscribe button here to make it look a little bit nicer. So I'll go back to my widgets here, and I'll select the MailChimp Unlimited subscribe button. So I'll click, hold, and drag and place onto my Adobe Muse website. And here we'll style this. Subscribe button background color, we'll say that goldish color. Subscribe button font color, we'll say white. Subscribe button hover color, we'll say the dark black there. Subscribe button border size, we can leave it at 3. Subscribe button border radius, 0 is fine. Font size, 32 is good. Button width, 22 is good. Button height, 50, we'll leave it at 50, that's good. Button line height, we'll say 25, that's good as well. Subscribe button border type, I don't think I want a border. Actually, yeah, we'll leave the border there, that's fine. And then subscribe button align, yeah, we can align to the left, right, or center. And I want it to be in the center, so we'll leave it like so. And I'll just place the widget options more to the left there, so it's not in the way of our web page and our web design. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and perfect. Our subscribe button is now styled, and we have these inputs here in our MailChimp form. Very good. So the subscribe button's a bit big, and also I'm not really crazy about that font, so I'm gonna select let's try Averia and see if we get that's not bad. I want it to match more the text that we've been working with, so let's see if I can find something. Or let me go back to the first site and I can reference it. So here I have my subscribe, and for this one I used Adamina. So let's go back here and I'll click here and I'll select Adamina. If I can find it, here it is, Adamina. Perfect. And I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and perfect. So now it's more to our liking. And you'll notice that the menu doesn't have the styling on it, and that's because we need to add text with that font family in it. So I'm going to go, let me reference this site again. I said subscribe, and then I said receive updates on new products. So I'm going to go back to our website. I'm going to go to shop, and I'm going to copy this text here. I'll go back to our subscribe page. I'll paste that in there, and I'll put that in the center, and I'll say subscribe. And then I'm going to copy this, actually I'm going to create some text, and I don't really want to add any paragraph styles to this text because it's not really a subheading, but I'm going to say receive updates on new products, and I'll hit Command A to select all of it, or Control A if you're on Windows, and then I'll select King's Castle on display. Font size, I'll say 18, and I'll make it white there. Very good. And I'll bring the MailChimp form down, and I'll center this text as well in the center, and then I'll center that right there. Perfect. That looks good. I'll bring this back up a little bit. Looks good. Maybe up a little bit more. There, perfect. And I'll let this page breathe a little bit more too. Bring that down a little bit. And I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And perfect, looks good. Subscribe, receive updates on new products. We got our MailChimp form, and the user can subscribe. Very nice. So I think we're almost done with the website. The last thing I want to do is create the footer, and then I want to link all the pages together. So I'm going to go to the footer area, and what I'm going to do, let me go to my plan view. I'm going to copy this logo again right here, and I'm going to go to plan. And we're actually not almost done with the website. There's still quite a bit we have to do. I'm going to hit Command V to paste, and just resize this a little bit so that it fits nicely in here. And I'll arrange, right click, let's see, we'll move to layer 3, there, perfect. So that it's in the front, and we'll make this a little bit bigger. Perfect, so that's in our footer. And I want to add some links here, so I'm going to create some text, and I'm going to say home, and I'll put it in some brackets for some more styling. Home, and again we'll make this King's Castle. We'll make it white, and 14 is good because in the footer you can have the links be a little bit smaller, or at least I like to have them a little bit smaller. And I'll copy and paste there, and I'll say about, I'll put it in brackets as well. Very good. Paste, copy and paste, and then I'll say in here, I'll say shop, and I'll paste again. I'll say subscribe, and I'll make this text area a little bit bigger. Paste again, and then I'll say contact. All right, make this wider here. Oops, make it wider. Perfect. And I'm just gonna select all these, and then I'm gonna go to align, align to selection, and then just make sure that it's horizontal or vertically distribute the space there so that all the spacing is nice and even between these buttons. All right, so there's our footer. It's a very basic footer. Obviously a footer usually has more content in it or more links, but there we have it. And now I'm going to link these footer items. So I'm going to click on home where it says hyperlinks. I'm just going to click home. About, I'm going to click about. Shop, I'm going to click shop. Subscribe, I'll say subscribe. And contact, I'll say contact right here. All right, so we've linked the footer, and if we go to any of the pages, so if I go to my dedicated to service page or my about page, we see the footer there. Looks very nice. And I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And I'll scroll down and we have our footer area there. And if we click, right now it's not going to show the page because we haven't previewed the website in the browser. We've just been previewing the page. So yeah, the footer is there. And now that we're linking everything, I'm going to link the menu to all the pages as well. So we're going to go to our master page, and I did edit all this in the master page, the footer area. So you want to make sure you do that so that it shows up on all the pages. So now to link the menu here, the big menu widget to the pages, we just click on the big menu widget options. And then here where it says link 1, for the home page, it's always ./index.html. For link 2, it's going to be ./about.html. And what I'm doing is just doing / and the name of the page .html. And then here we're going to say /shop.html. And then for the link 4, we're going to say /subscribe.html. Hit enter. And then for link 5, /contact.html. And basically you just want to write the name of the page, .html, and we can see here it says home, about, shop, subscribe, and contact. So if you rename it, you just have to rename it in the widget options of the big menu widget. And it's not case sensitive, so like just all lowercase letters. And here we have uppercase letters in the beginning. You don't need to worry about that when you're entering into the widget options. Very good, so we've just linked everything. So now I'm going to go to the home page, go to Plan View, click on Home Page, and instead of File, Preview Page in Browser, I'm going to go to File, Preview Site in Browser. And this renders or generates all of the pages so that we can preview the website in the browser. All right, perfect. So here's our home page. We scroll down, looks good, and we have submit here, our contact form. We have our footer, looks good, and our footer takes us to all the pages. There's shop, about, subscribe, excuse me, my voice cracked a little bit, and contact. So not only do we have it in the footer, if we go to the menu, and we go to the menu, we click about, goes to about, menu, shop, menu, subscribe, menu, contact. So as you can see, our website is taking shape and it's easy to navigate, has some nice content on it, and looks good. So I'm not sure if I put the font smoother widget in here. I might have. Oh, I put it on the home page. So only the home page has the font smoother. What I want to do is add this to the master page so all the pages have that smooth font added to them. So I'm going to hit Command X to cut this from the home page, or Control X if you're on Windows. I'm going to go to Plan View, go to my master page, and then hit Command V to paste. So now all my pages will have the font smoother widget and all the fonts will look really nice. Very good. And actually I don't want these to overlap, so I'm just going to bring this widget options down here. This is the MailChimp subscribe button. Very good. The MailChimp unlimited subscribe button. All right, very good. So we have the basic foundation of the website done. I mean, you could upload this and users can navigate, they could purchase from the shop, they could subscribe in the subscribe page, they could contact you in the contact page, and they have an about page and a nice home page. So the next thing we want to do is kind of add more styling to the website with Muse4U widgets from Muse4Ushop.com widgets. So I'm going to go and see what I can kind of spice up or kind of make look nicer. And the first thing I notice here is that I have this logo. And with this logo, what I want to do is use the SVG draw so that it animates and then it fades in. So we're going to do that with that. And then here I notice I have some space for some icons next to branding, development, and consulting. So I'm going to put some icons here, and I'm going to use the click effects widget so that if the user clicks, they have some interesting effects going on there. And then here I notice I can use the animator widget to animate these images. So as they go up, they animate one by one. And yeah, so I think that's it for that. And then let me see what else I can add. Yeah, I added the PayPal animated buy buttons for the buttons here, so we've gone over that. Yeah, subscribe is pretty straightforward. I don't really want to add any animation there. And the contact, don't need to add any animation there either. I guess I could use the SVG draw here for the about page and animate the logo here, but I might not do that because I just want people to read what this website is about, and who we are. If this was a real site, I just want them to read it and not necessarily see anything super flashy, but know that this is what we're about, and you can just read the content there. Very good. And it's solid. It looks good. It has a nice logo and everything. So now I'm going to go back to the home page. So basically, we're just going to make the home page look a little bit nicer. And one thing I noticed, that because this web page is a little bit long, let's say someone's scrolling and they want to go back to the top, I want to add an animated back to the top button right here in this lower area. So what I'm going to do next is use the SVG draw widget. So I have the logo here. I'm going to go to my assets folder, and I'm going to open up that hipster monogram logo. I'm going to right click, open with, or not hipster, just a monogram logo template. I'm going to go back to Muse, and I'm going to see how big this image is here because I like the size of it. It's 380 by 361. So I'm going to go back to Illustrator, and I'm going to kind of delete this background here and just select this monogram here, and then I'll hold shift to unselect the background. So now we just have the monogram selected. I'll hit Command C to copy, and I'll go to File. I want to create an artboard, so I'm going to go to File, and we'll let it load here. Go to File, New, and I'm going to say 400 by 400. Because the image on the website was about 380 by 321, I'm going to create a 400 by 400 square. Yeah, I'm going to create a 400 by 400 square so that when we use the animator widget and the SVG draw widget, we can just place them on top of each other and they're the same size, and we can resize them, but just keep the proportion the same so that we can add the SVG draw and then add the animator effect over it as well. So I'll click OK, and I'll hit Command V to paste, and I'll make this logo. I'll go to transform, and we'll make the logo 380 pixels in width, and then the height will be 387. So that's perfect. So now what I want to do is go to File, Save for Web. I want the transparency to be on, and I want to click Save. So I'll save this. I'll go to my website 2, which is the folder I'm working in, and I'll say logo, logo dash 1, because I think I saved logo for the first example. And now what I want to do is sample this gold color here, because I want my outline for the SVG draw. I want the outline to be in gold. So I'll sample this gold color, and I'll click here, and I'll just copy this code, and perfect. And now what I want to do is select this entire logo. I want to go to fill up here where this question mark is. I'm going to say fill. I'm going to say none. And then for the stroke, I'm going to say 0.75. And then for the stroke color here in Illustrator, we have the fill, and then we have the stroke here. So I'm going to click on stroke, then double click, and then hit Command V to paste and click OK. So now our stroke color is that goldish color, and I like 0.75 because it's nice and thin. 0.1 is a little bit too thick, so I'll do 0.75, and 0.1 isn't bad, but 0.75 I find looks really nice when it draws. So there I have the outline for the SVG draw. So I'll go to File, Save As, and here where it says Format, I'll say SVG, and then I'll save it as logo1.svg. And then here the SVG options look good, and you can just follow these options if you're not quite sure what to do with this, but usually it's pretty good. So I'll just click OK, and very good. So now I have my PNG, which I'm going to use for the animator widget, and the SVG, which I'm going to use for the SVG draw widget. So I'm actually going to leave this logo here because I like the size, so I'm going to reference it when bringing in the SVG draw. So to bring in the SVG draw widget, I'm going to go to Library, and I'm going to scroll down, and here I have I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. I have Muse for You SVG draw widget 1.1. I'll click the drop down, I'll click here, then I'll click, hold, and drag to place the widget in here, and perfect. And then so the size of this is 380 by 361. So I'm actually going to say for the width and the height of the SVG, I'm going to say 380 by, not 38, 380 by 380. All right, looks good. And then I'm going to go to the widget options in the SVG draw. Here it says choose an SVG. I'm going to click add file, and then I'll go to website 2, and then I want to say logo-1.svg. And perfect. And I wanted to draw asynchronously so that all the lines draw together. And perfect, looks good. And very good. So now I'm just going to place this over this image, and it fits quite nicely over it. So I'm going to delete this SVG here, and I'm just going to bring the SVG draw up like so. And then I'm going to go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And we can see the logo draws there. Looks nice. Perfect. And it is a little bit lighter. I could even make the lines the darker, the black color, and that might look interesting as well. But let's leave that for now. And now I'm going to bring in the image. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to say logo1-png. I'll bring it in here and place it right in there. Very good. And now for the size, I'm going to make this image a little bit smaller, so I'm going to click on it, and then for the width, I'm going to say, and I'm going to constrain proportions, and I'm going to say 380. And actually, what I need to do is crop it. So I'll select the crop tool, click in the center, and here I'll change it to 380. Then I'll click the selection tool, and I'll select the image, and I'll set this to 380 as well. All right, very good. So I am moving a little bit more quickly now because the video will be very long if I don't, but feel free to ask me questions as you watch the video. In the comment section, you can ask me any questions. So now I'll go to Preview Page in Browser, and we have the PNG, and the SVG is actually drawing in the background, but because they're overlapped, we don't really see it, and it's not even perfectly overlapped, so I have to make sure that they overlap perfectly. All right, so let's see here. There we go, that should be perfect. File, Preview Page in Browser. And if we can't see the SVG draw, perfect. We can't see it, so that means they're perfectly overlapped. So now what I want to do is bring in the animator widget. So I'm going to go to the library, scroll down, and I'll click down here where it says the animator widget, and I'll say initial because it's our first animation. I'll click, hold, and drag, place on my Adobe Muse website, and click the widget options. And we're going to leave the graphic style name animate1, and we want it to fade in. So I'm going to select fade in, and we're going to say 7 seconds. We want it to fade in after 7 seconds, and we want it to animate on start, so I'll leave that like so. And perfect. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and oh, we didn't add the graphic style name to the PNG, so I'll click on the PNG. I'll go to Graphic Styles, create a new graphic style, and just one graphic style, not two. I'll click on Style, I'll double click, and call this Animate1. All right, good. Now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and very good. So we have the SVG drawing, and then the image fades in. Looks really nice. And I'm actually going to change the color of the lines of the SVG because I think I'm using a lighter background for some reason this time. So I'm going to say color, and actually let me go into my Muse site and find this darker color here, and then I'm going to go to Fill and copy this hex code. Go back to Illustrator, that's Photoshop. Go back to Illustrator. For the stroke here, I'm going to paste that in, click OK. Then I'll go File, Save, to save the SVG. Go back to Muse, and I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Select the SVG in the back, choose an SVG, select logo 1 again, and good. And then let me place this PNG over it again. Very good. And I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and it draws. There, that's very nice. It looks a bit nicer when it's darker. And because we can still see the lines, I want the SVG to fade out. So I'm going to select the SVG back here, and then I'm going to toggle the fade out, and I'm going to say after 7 seconds, or actually I'm going to say after 12 seconds. We want that fade out to be longer so that the effect of the SVG stays there for a bit. We don't want it to start fading out as it's drawing. So I'm going to say File, Preview Page in Browser, and so it draws. Perfect. We get the drawing effect. Then it fades out, and all we get is the logo. I really like that effect. Looks good. So we're good for the logo there, the SVG draw logo and the fade in looks good. So now I'm going to keep going down the page, and now I want to add some icons here next to branding, development, and consulting. So I'm going to go to my library panel and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to say, I'm going to use the click effects widget. So I have the click effects widget 1.1. I'm going to click, hold, and drag, place onto my Adobe Muse website. I'm going to make the icon size, I'm going to say 32. And the icon color before, I'm going to say the dark black here. And the icon color after, I'm going to say white. Actually, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that the other way around, white, and then the darker color here. And then the effect color, I'm going to say kind of this dark color here. Or, yeah, if that's the case, I'm going to do icon before color black and icon color after white. For the pointer, we're going to leave the pointer like that. Looks good. All right, so now I have that there, and I'm just going to put it next to branding. I'm going to line it up with branding so that it looks like it's just in line with branding. And I'm going to copy and paste. Oh, and actually, I want to change the icon as well. And I'm going to randomly select an icon just to save some time for this video. So I selected some cubes there. Let's see, font, see how that looks. Okay, and then I'll copy this again, paste that in there, and then I'll put it next to consulting, and then I'll say gift, maybe that's not really, oh, I had globe, that would have been cool. FG, so let's do globe. All right, cool. So we have branding, development, and consulting. So now I'll go to, and let me close this Chrome browser because I have a lot of windows open. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And there it goes, it draws nicely, perfect. And then here we have our logos. If I click, we have the click effect. And what I like is that it has the effect and then changes color on just one of the icons. So it looks cool. It looks like, okay, I'm clicking on each one and it's selecting each one there. And I want to change the click effect actually, so I'm going to select, for select click effect, I'm going to say Radomir. And I can have different click effects by changing the instance number here. Let's say I wanted a different click effect, I could say instance number 2. So I'll do 2 there, and we'll leave it at that. And then here I'll say 3, and we'll change it to marine. And let's see how that looks. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. We'll let it load, and I'll click. So we have that effect. There we have that effect, and there we have that effect. Cool. So we have 3 different effects there, and it looks good. Nice. And I'm going to change them all to Radomir because I like that. And I'm going to say instance number 1 because we don't need multiple instances because they're using the same type of effect and the same colors. And I'll say 1 and I'll say Radomir. Perfect. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. I'll scroll down, and nice. We have those click effects. Very good. So as you can see, we're adding more depth, more animation, more styling to this website. For works, I'm just going to leave it like that. Yeah, I'm going to continue with the website. So we got works. I'll leave the slideshow as it is, and meet our team. I want this to animate, so I want Sam to animate up, then Alex, and then Max. So I'm going to go back to my website. I'll scroll down to that area, and I'm going to go to my library panel. Because we've already added an animation, I want to add the animator additional. So we select here under the animator widget, and here it says Muse for You, the animator dash additional. So I'm going to click, hold, and drag, place onto there, and very good. So now I'm going to go to the widget options, and this says animate 2 for the graphic style name, so that's good because we've already used animate 1. Instance name 2, good. Select animation, I want it to fade up. So fade in up. No, not fade in up. Just is it fade in up? No, it is. Yeah, fade in up. Okay, good. Very good. And then for the duration, I want it to be 2 seconds. So I'll enter in 2000, and I want it to be on scroll. and I want it to start 100% from the top of the browser. So as soon as it hits the bottom of the page, it's going to start animating, and I want to repeat the animation down here, and looks good. And I want it to, yeah, no, we'll leave it on scroll. So now I want to go to this image. I want to click on graphic styles, create a new graphic style by selecting this icon that looks like a piece of paper, double clicking, and I'll enter in animate 2. So now we've added this animation, graphic style name animate 2 to this image. Okay, perfect. So now I'm just going to copy and paste for the other ones, and here I'm going to say animate 3, instance number 3. You need to change the instance number because I'm going to have different duration for each of them, and so they each need to have their own instance number. So here I'm going to say 4 seconds, and all the other options are good. Then I'll go to the second image here, create a new graphic style, double click, animate 3. Yeah, create a new graphic style by selecting this icon that looks like a piece of paper. Then I'll copy this again, paste, copy the animator widget there. I'll say animate 4, instance number 4, and then I'll say 6 seconds. And then everything else looks good. So I'll go to this image and then assign it the animate 4 styling. So I'll say animate 4 by selecting the icon there. It looks like a piece of paper, create new graphic style. And then, yeah, everything looks good there. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And I'll scroll up. So there we have the animation there, SVG Draw. We got our click effects here. Looks good. I'll scroll down. And perfect. Nice. I really like how that animates. Looks good. And if I go back up, it'll animate again because I asked it to repeat the animation. Max goes a little bit slow, but I kind of like it. It kind of has a smooth feel to it. It's like, hey, here we are. And I could even change the timing. I could say 2. We'll leave it at 2 seconds there. I'll set, I think her name's, what did I give her name? Alex. Yeah. Alex will set to 3 seconds, and then Max will set to 4 seconds. So it'll have kind of a faster animation. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I'll scroll down. So we have the animation there. I'll scroll down, and there, it's a bit quicker. That's better. I mean, I kind of like it both ways. It's kind of your preference, I would say. But I am going to change it to how I had it before because I like the smoothness of that nice fading in. And maybe I'll say 5 seconds for Max so he doesn't come in as slowly. Alright, so we've got the animation there, and we'll preview that in a second. And, or actually let's preview it now just to see how it looks. I like to preview my site as I'm working on it. And animation, good. Scroll down. Nice. And we're going to change Max to 6 seconds just so the timing looks good. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. We'll preview it in a second. Now the last thing I want to do, so we've got the SVG draw, we've got the click effects, and we've got the animator in here, and we've got the animator up here as well. And the last thing I want to do is add back to the top page icon. So I want to add it down here in this area. So I'm going to go to Library. I'm going to scroll down, Muse for You, and I'm going to select, it's up here, Animated Buttons widget. And I'm going to select Animated Buttons with Icons widget. So I'm going to click, hold, and drag, place onto my Adobe Muse website. And for the button, I'm going to say, I'm going to use Sack Night because I like the way it looks. And the first one, Sack Night 1, is a square. And for the, we're not going to have button text before or button text after because it's an icon. And for the size, I'm going to say 32. Not the font size, excuse me. The icon size, I'm going to say 32. Looks good. And then the color, I'm going to say, the color before, I'm going to say white. And the color 3, I'm going to say black. And then color 4, I'm going to say gold. And yeah, I think that's all we need to do. I'll set this as gold as well. And color 2 we'll set to gold. We'll see how that looks. And let's make that icon size 50. And Sack Night box size, we're gonna do 100. There we go. That's better. So we have a nice big button, and Very good. Sacchinite box size, border size, and let's do 50 for the board. Oops, not 500. We're gonna do 50 so that it fills, the animation fills the entire box there. And we're gonna select for the icon, we're not gonna select right, we're gonna select up. So we're gonna select FA arrow circle 0 up. We can do 0 up, or we can do, I might like just up. So we'll do arrow up. And no, I like 0 up. So we'll go back here and I'll say 0 up. All right, looks good. And now I'll just, oops, we won't do that. I'll just place this here in the bottom. And actually, what I want to do is make this a footer item. So I'll click on it, click on footer, and now I can bring it down to the footer. I'll say arrange. I want to bring this to the top, so I'll go to my layers panel. Here in layer 1, I'll bring this animated buttons with icons to the layer 3. And very good. Perfect. So now if we put it over the footer, it's there. And yeah, we just want to put it on this page because not every page is a full page. And I'll just minimize this here a little bit so we can fit it really nicely in there. All right, looks good. So there's our back to top button. And what I want to do is link this to an anchor at the top of the page. So I'm going to click on the anchor icon here, click on anchor, and yeah, I'm back to the top of the page. Click the anchor tool and then click here on the top and call this top. You can call it anything you'd like, but I find top works well for this example. And I'll put it to the very top of the page right there, so that when the user clicks this icon, it goes to the very top of the page. So now I want to select the animated button here. I want to go to hyperlinks and I want to select this anchor called top. Very good. So now if I go to file, preview page in browser, okay, we have our SVG draw and our animator fade in. Looks nice. And we have our buttons here. Okay, they're a bit bigger, so we might have to play with some of the widget options. And I'll scroll down. We have the animator here. Looks good. Perfect. We have a slideshow here. We create a slideshow. We have an image here, contact, and then we have a back to top button. And we can see we have that animation there, which looks nice. And we click on it, it goes to the top of the website. Now this button's a little too big for my liking, so I'm going to go in here and make it a bit smaller. And for instance number, I'm going to say 2 because I think some of the instance numbers might be overlapping with the click effects. So we'll just say 2 there. And very good. So let's see, let's make the Sacchinite box a little bit smaller. So we'll say 70. Looks good. And the icon size, we're going to say 38. And perfect. Looks good. And we'll do something like that. And good. So now I'll go to file, preview page in browser. And perfect. So our icons are back to normal. Yeah, it was just a bit overlap there. Yep, looks good. And then I'll scroll down, back to top, click there. I don't know if they were, let me check something. Yeah, they're a bit smaller here. All right. Yeah, they shouldn't overlap here, so I'm wondering why they're a bit bigger when I preview it. So that's something to look into. So I'll go to file, preview page in browser. But they don't look bad here, they don't look too big. So we'll leave it like so, but that is something that I will take a look at. But here we have the animation, and yeah, back to top. So I think that's pretty much it for the website. We have the animator widget, we have the big menu widget from useforyourshop.com. Yeah, I'm just gonna go over the different widgets here. The big menu widget, we have the font smoother widget added to the fonts to make the font smoother. We have the SVG draw widget to draw the animation, the logo here at first. Then we have the animator widget fading this in. We have the click effects widget here, so that when they click on it, these icons, they have an effect, and you can just add icons with the click effects, which I find really cool. It's great if you just want to add icons and then people can click on it and it'll have a nice effect. We have a slideshow here that I've added. Very good. And then we're using the animator widget here. The slideshow is just from Adobe Muse, but here we're using the animator widget from useforyourshop.com. And the click effects widget is from musefreeshop.com as well. We have the animator widget there, and we have an image here. We have a contact form just from Adobe Muse, and we have the animated buttons widget that will bring us back to the top. I think I might know why it's these are a bit bigger. It's because it's using this style sheet here, because the icons use the same style name, if I can put it that way. So that's that'll be an update, or an update that I'll be doing for the some of these widgets. Very good. Or if you're just having icons, you can make them the same size. But I'll fix that, and you can let me know, if you have any questions with it. I can help you out with that. But yeah, we have the back to the top animated buttons widget. We'll go to the menu. We'll go to the about page. Very good. And we can see that footer is on top of the menu, and that's because if we go to our master page, we'll click here. We want to make sure that in our layers panel, the menu is on layer 3. We want to make sure that the menu is on top of everything, just like that. On top of the footer, on top of all the buttons. Very good. So I'll go back here. I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And scroll down. So now our menu, if we scroll down, our menu's on top of everything. Yep, looks good. Yeah, it's on top of that. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it's on top. All right, very good. So now I'm going to go to About. There's our About page dedicated to service. Shop. There's our shop page. We use the PayPal animated buy buttons here for the buy now. You click on them, it'll take you to PayPal. We use the Photoshop buttons in Adobe Muse to have a hover effect over these shop items. And we added some text here, shop at the top, and an image. We got the footer there at the bottom. I'll click on menu, go to subscribe. We use the MailChimp Unlimited widget here from musefreeshop.com. Yeah, and the shop buttons as well are from musefreeshop.com. Very good. Subscribe, MailChimp Unlimited. We can subscribe to the MailChimp form. Very good. We got the footer as well. Click on menu. I'll click on contact, and then we have a contact form here and the footer as well. Perfect. So one thing I did notice, and just a quick edit, is that submit button is a little bit too far from the rest of the contact form. So I'll just click there, go to plan view, and I'll click here and bring this up as well. Very good, perfect. So that looks good. Our website is done. So once again, I'm going to go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and perfect. And I'm just going to close some of these windows here. Let me close these windows. I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. Looks good. We have the intro. I'll scroll down. Features, works, meet our team. Looks good. And let's discuss. And sorry, one last thing. I'm going to make the font size here a bit smaller, just so we can see these items here get smaller as well. File, Preview Page in Browser. Yep, and they're smaller here. So that will be a change in case you want to use the click effects and the animated buttons widget. They kind of overlap a little bit, but I will fix that in an update. Or you can just have the icons be the same size here. Very good, unless I have the same instance number here. So let me check that. Instance number 1, and number 1. Okay, and instance number 2. Okay, yeah, that'll be an update. All right, so I'll go to File. This is going to be the file preview. Sorry, I know I've been previewing a lot. File preview, we have the image there, intro. Very good. Scroll down, we have the icons with click effects from musefreeshop.com, and the animator widget, animations here. Very good. Image here, contact form, submit buttons a bit closer. We could style this a bit more too, like the hover there. We have the footer, perfect, back to top. Perfect, menu, click on about, there it is. Footer, good. Menu, click on shop, there's our shop. Buy now buttons, hover with the Photoshop buttons. And this is the PayPal animated buy buttons from musefreeshop.com. Footer looks good. Menu, subscribe. There's our subscribe form. Our footer looks good. Menu, contact, and there's our contact form. And our footer looks good. And all these link as well to the different pages on the website. Very good. So I think I've covered quite a bit of information. To upload the site, I have some videos on uploading the website. I'll kind of let you go through that on uploading the website, or you can ask me some questions in the comment section below. But yeah, I had a lot of fun creating this video tutorial. I know a lot of you wanted to see kind of me build a website from scratch. It is a longer video, but I think it's very useful information for designing your website. And actually the last thing you'll want to do as well is on each page, go to page properties, go to page and then page properties, give each page a description. And this is for SEO purposes, and make sure that your page name has a good title, and you can enter keywords there and as well. And I have a Google Analytics widget. You go to library, go to museforousshop.com, have Google Analytics, and you can place, you'll want to place it on the master page. So I'll go to plan, and I'll place the Google Analytics widget here. And then you'll just want to write the tracking ID here that you get from Google Analytics. Very good. So I think that's it. So again, the menu and the footer are on the master page. The Google Analytics here that I just recently placed is on the master page, and the font smoother is on the master page. When you put anything on the master page, it puts it on all the pages, so you can ensure all your pages have these elements here. Very good. So I think that's it for this website. I'll just go to the home page here. Thanks again for watching. If you watched this whole video, that's awesome. I think you'll be well on your way to creating an awesome website. If you have any questions about SEO at the end or uploading your website, let me know. I kind of went more over how to just develop a website from the beginning and how to add different things. I did do a bit of SEO with the subheads here. But yeah. Oh, and one last thing, in the master page, you can go to page properties, and you can add a page title prefix. So what I do for my site is I type in Muse for You for the page title prefix, then a bar, space, and then a bar, and then another space. And then for the page title suffix, I do Adobe Muse CC, or whatever pertains to your site. And before I do a bar and a space. Now what this does is it puts a prefix before your page title and a suffix after your page title. And this is good for SEO, so that each page has either the name of your company and then maybe a small description, or just the name of your company and maybe a suffix. Yeah, and maybe a suffix that you want to add to it. And then you can add a favicon to all your pages. So I'll go to File, Site Properties, and then here where it says favicon image, you'll click the folder there. And then hopefully it brings me to that favicon folder. Otherwise, I'll have to look for it. And yes, it does. So I have my Muse for You logo, favicon, there, and I'll click OK. So I'll go to Plan, I'll go to File, Preview, Site, and Browser. And it's exporting. And this is just a little bit of SEO here. And here you can see it says Muse for You, Home, and then I'll click on the other pages, About, and there it is. It says Muse for You, About. And I didn't put a space in the suffix. So I'll go to the master page, page properties, and space there. Yeah, I want to put a space there in the suffix. Yeah, so in the space at the beginning of the suffix, bar, then a space after the bar, and then the name that I want to add there. So I'll go to preview page in browser. And I think this will be the last preview. All right, so we have, it says Muse for You, Home. If I leave my cursor there, Muse for You, Home, Adobe Muse CC. And the home page, you can title something more descriptive, like maybe the name of your company. Muse for You, About. Let's reload that there. Okay, so there's About, Shop. And I don't think it's updated here, but subscribe. And let me go back to the plan view here. Page properties. Yeah, it should be, let me go File, Preview Site in Browser. I think it just hasn't cached yet for some of these other pages. Very good. So let it load, and I'm just, okay. There we go. All right, Home, About. Yeah, that's better, it's cached now. Shop. Yep, you can see at the top, it says Muse for You, Shop, Adobe Muse CC. Subscribe. That's the title of the page. See, it has the prefix and the suffix after each page. And this is great for search engine optimization for your website. And contact. Awesome. Very good. So I'll go back to the home page. That was the last preview. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to ask me in the comments section. Just leave any feedback or comments there. And very good. So we've designed an entire website in Adobe Muse with quite a bit of functionality. A shop, a MailChimp subscription, contact form, and plenty of effects to add a lot of interest to your users when visiting your website. And a lot of the effects were from museforyoushop.com. So I'll actually show you where to access it. You can go to museforyoushop.com, click on Shop Now, and you'll be brought to the shop here. And you can get all widgets and any new widgets for only $39 a year. And you can click here to subscribe, or you can use PayPal to subscribe, or you can purchase the widgets individually. And you can see all the widgets that I've used here for this website. The animator widget, the SVG draw widget, let's see what else, Google Analytics, let's see, the big menu, which I use for the menu, the font smoother widget. Let's see, you could add a file uploader widget if you wanted users to upload any types of files. And there was an update to that where you can choose what files the user can upload to have more control of what gets uploaded to your server. Very good. We use the click effects widget and the PayPal animated buy buttons here. So for the shop, PayPal animated buy buttons. Very good. And we use the animated buttons here for the back to top button. Very good. And we use the MailChimp unlimited widget there. Very good. So yeah, I think we use probably, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We used 9 widgets for this website and made it look really nice and more interest and more animation and effects for your users. So again, you can get all widgets and any new widgets for only $39 a year. You can click here to subscribe or pay with PayPal by clicking here. Very good. So that's it for this video tutorial. If you watched the entire video, that's awesome. Again, feel free to ask me any questions. Again, I wanted to make this video to really help you build a website in Adobe Muse from the beginning. I think this can set you off well on your way to building a website. I do have videos on uploading your website to a server, getting web hosting if you need it. I'll leave a link for web hosting below, as well as access to my webpage here. And in another video, I'm going to go over Cloudflare, how to speed up your website using Cloudflare, and all those nice and cool tricks or cool things you can do for your site to make it faster. This was my first kind of building from scratch website. There's going to be a lot more of these because I do want to help you build awesome websites without code and show you how to build a website from scratch so that you can watch it and build your website from the beginning and have your website done like within a couple days, within a week, or however much time you want to put into it. But hopefully this showed you that you can build a website within a few hours and just have a really nice site to either show to your client or do for yourself for your own project, and for your own project or for your clients, and just really impress yourself and or your clients with a really cool website with a lot of functionality and all that. And now that Muse is becoming responsive, the sky's the limit, and I will do a video on how to make a website with the responsive design, the new responsive design when it comes out. So we'll build a design for mobile, tablet, and desktop. And what's great is that Muse will still be adaptive as well. You can still build for tablet, phone, and desktop, or you can do responsive, phone, tablet, and desktop. I'm going to go from phone to desktop first because those are kind of best practices. But yeah, you can do responsive or adaptive in the new Muse that's coming out very soon. It should be out by the end of this year. Okay, so I think I've harped on that enough. Just thanks for watching. If you like this video, you can subscribe below. Also in the show more section below are links to more resources, to museforyoushop.com and a few other resources there. And again, I do this to help you build awesome websites without code. Thanks for watching. Check out museforyoushop.com, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you.